Welcome everybody to another episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. Today we're going to be talking about Mr. Danny Masterson and his new digs inside the California prison system, one of the most dangerous, if you were to ask me, states to do time in. And this prison seems to be pretty active. Active meaning, a lot of violence. With a simple Google search, you'll see that inmate on inmate homicides are very frequent here. Those are the type of prisons you don't want to go to. But he doesn't have a choice, man. It doesn't matter if he's Danny Masterson and has millions or not. The millions are going to play a big factor in the way that he does time, and we're going to get into that. But first, before I break that down, I do have a story to tell y'all. Written by an inmate that did time in the California prison system level 4. Level 3 and up, the danger level rises significantly because there's nothing but violent offenders, gang members, lifers, rapists, you name it. The worst are from level 3 and up. And Mr. Masterson's in the same level prison, so this should give you a little bit of an idea of what he might be having to deal with sooner or later down the road. So let's get right into it. If you enjoy all things lockup and crime related, then this is where you want to be. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave, and check out my playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today. Now, Mr. Masterson was moved to North Kern State Prison, and for now, if I were to guess, Mr. Masterson is pretty safe. He's under lock and key, probably gets out of his cell maybe 2 hours a day. By himself, if not around 1 or 2 other people that need protection just as much as he does. People probably wonder, well, if he's in this special block, then he's going to be okay, man. Nothing's going to happen to him. Well, you would know if you followed the channel. I've done plenty of stories of people in these type of units getting got as well. Look, if a head honcho wants you dead in the California prison system, you're going to die. I mean, that's just how it is from what I gathered. Ain't nothing going to stop it from happening. I'm going to break down how this happens here in a second, but first, let me read this story. And if Masterson happens to come out of this lockdown unit, protective unit, whatever you want to call, he's going to have to deal with these type of politics. Even if he doesn't come out, he might get a letter shot to him, a little kite, saying, bro, you're going to fall in line, or else we're going to send someone your way just like this kite came your way, right? That's how it happens. So let's go ahead and start reading a story from an inmate that will best describe what Mr. Masterson will be looking forward to if he ever were to jump out of that PC unit. Also keep in mind that in California, the inmates separate by race. The article reads, I want to start out by saying I'm no longer part of any white power gangs or organizations, nor do I want to be. Those days have come and gone. I'm just here to tell you how it all works. Let's start at the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. I'm not there anymore, but I remember it like it was yesterday. How could I forget? I saw more stabbings than a person should ever have to. I believe that, 100%. When you're white and you end up in the California prison system, you have to join one of the white power gangs. You don't have a choice if you want to survive. The gang will protect you from trouble as long as you're white and don't have a bad jacket. Meaning guys with sexual assault crimes, offenses on children, stuff like that. That's a bad jacket. That's kind of the field that Mr. Masterson's in. But keep in mind, he has millions. And one thing's for sure about that whole prison beast, it lives and breathes off of money. So that's going to play a big factor in Masterson's situation, if I were to guess. We'll get there in a second, but let me continue with this story. My first day on the yard, someone walked me around the place and we passed one of the guys from my car. A car is the group of guys that you hang out with in the same race and the same geographic location as you. He told me all the spots I couldn't walk or go into and showed me where the whites had their own spot where I was allowed to go. See, in these prisons, they have different TVs, phones, and sections inside the pod and the yard for different races. Let's say you're a white guy, happen to break that invisible barricade where the black guys are working. Something could definitely jump off just because you're walking on their territory. See, the prisons I've been in, man, ain't nothing separated like that. I was told we only play sports with whites and Mexicans, and the whites hold themselves to a higher standard to others inside prison. They feel that they are superior to all. White prisoners couldn't eat at the same tables or take showers in the same showers as black prisoners. Don't get me wrong, the black prisoners wanted it like that as well. So it worked out well for both groups. So within the first week of being in this prison, you have to hand over your paperwork detailing exactly what kind of charges you had for the person to review. And if it all checks out, you don't have none of the dirty jacket charges that we just talked about, you'll become a brother in a tight-knit organization. There's many different white power organizations inside California prison. You have your skinheads, who are considered the extremists, and the peckerwoods, or woods, who are much less extreme. Some are just white men who need a place where they fit in for protection. In other words, not all peckerwoods are racist. They're just trying to do their time without dying. But a lot are, don't get it twisted, man. Racism in prison, I told y'all, even over here in Virginia, it elevates to a different level than you see on the streets. I was just a normal white guy, but being white, I had no choice but to be a peckerwood. One wrong move, I could be stabbed by my own guys. For example, whites in California prison system don't condone homosexuality or any out-of-race relationship. That kind of stuff will get you stabbed, at least on the yards for level 3 and 4. Look, I had a guest come on to the channel and say that he almost got by his own guys in California prison once they found out he had a black girlfriend. Picture that, man. That's unreal. But it is real, you know? Not only is this guy telling his story, but the guy told me in the video. I really didn't worry about all the violence. As crazy as that sounds, I truly didn't. I was just a young, dumb kid, a nobody inside the prison system. But I had an army to back me up. And that is something that is, if you were to ask me, a good thing to lean on in prison. Because a lot of prisons I've seen, these guys come in, they don't have nothing. Nobody to help them, man. They're getting their cheeks probably taken that night. So these prison systems, even though they're ran a bit different from east to west coast, they have their pros and cons. That's how it is in California. White prisoners protect white and black protect black, so on and so on. And if you happen to see one of your fellow white guys get into a fight with another race, it's mandatory for you to jump in and help, regardless if you know you're going to lose or not. If not, then later on, you will get stabbed up by your own people. And if I were to guess, they're going to be aiming for the lethal spots and make sure you don't see another day in a cell block. That's just how it goes. In order to keep structure, you have to keep strict punishment. And if you mess up and your life's on the line, then that's going to keep people in line. Just imagine how many people would stop stealing this country if the sentence was death. Or the sentence was they chop your hands and feet off. Ain't nobody going to be stealing shit. Or at least drop the crime rate down significantly. The fear factors that push the white power gangs inside the California prison system is no joke. Don't think for 1 minute you're a white man and you end up in the CDCR, you're just going to do your own thing. If you want to survive, you will get in line with the other whites and you will listen to them and go by all the rules they have. So you have a big difference between the hardcore prison system like the CDCR or some other place like the Wisconsin DOC. I'm guessing he did time there as well. Joining a white power organization is not a must in Wisconsin or many other states. You can be yourself. You don't have to worry about hanging out and eating with only whites. That's what I'm used to. Going, eating, trading, watching TV, using the phone, sharing the phone, doing anything and everything with any kind of race I want. So, you know, when I first heard all this stuff about the California prison system, I heard about it in the movies and stuff. I thought it was just movie stuff, but this is legit. They run their ship totally different, and it blew my mind. Another thing that I realized very quickly is not to talk too much about it. So, I mean, that's the reality of a higher level prison in California. Now, will Mr. Masterson have to deal with these type of politics? I think, yeah, sooner or later, he ain't gonna be staying in that lockdown facility his whole bid. He's got too much time. He will get to a block that's a little more laxed and more active. And if he hasn't been contacted already, that's probably when he will. A trustee will bring him a little letter, a little kite or something from some head up in the organization saying, look, you're going to get down with the program or lay down. Which one? Right? And once that happens, you know, they can start milking this guy whichever way they want. If he does happen to start kicking money or anything along those lines, they're going to want to keep it going. Money is the most important thing in prison, so it can make moves for you and keep you safe. If you were to ask me, that's the best thing going for him right now is the amount of money that he has. It could very well umbrella and protect him even from his sex crimes. There's all kinds of different angles they could approach someone as popular and rich as Mr. Masterson. I can sit here right now and come up with 4 different scenarios on how I would reach out to him. If I was a leader for this white group, I'd say, man, I got me a little honeysuckle to work on here, right? Because fear makes just about anybody do anything. And with the proper amount of fear put onto Mr. Masterson, man, regardless of where he's at, he's going to kick. So to say the least, it's going to be interesting to see how this guy survives prison. But I think he has a great chance, even though he has bad paperwork. It's just like what I've seen when it comes down to extortion. We're going to be talking about prison extortion next video. But guys will come in with bad paperwork. They'll extort them. If they didn't have money, then they would go straight to violence, right? People with a lot of money, they don't want them out the block. They want to get everything they got. Anyways, hopefully you got a little something from this and understand that where Mr. Masterson's at is a very serious prison. Anybody that's been locked up over there and has their 2 cents they'd like to share, lace up the comments. But stay tuned, tomorrow we're going to be jumping into a Georgia prison where the extortion is going out of control. Parents from all over are terrified for their children, getting calls in the middle of the night saying they're going to get their cheeks taken and killed if they don't kick that $200-300. Like you hear all the time, man, money's the root of all evil, especially in prison. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, especially the ones in California, look, y'all be easy, be safe, and stay free.